Welcome back to Troy Drone Flights, and I'm Troy. Well, I got some very unfortunate news. Today I decided to take the X7 Ranger Exodrone out for a range test, and it's a fairly decent day today, not windy at all, and the drone just took off on me. And the only thing I have left to show for it is the actual remote and video of the actual drone taking off on me, but I'll show you the video and we'll get into it. Welcome back to Troy Drone Flights. So I'm out right now. I'm about to check out the X7 Ranger from Exodrones. About to put this thing through some paces right now. Pretty much I'm gonna do a range test on this drone to see what it can actually do and run it through its paces. Hopefully it does well. As you can see, I have the X7 Ranger Exodrone out, ready to go. We're about to do a range test, and it's a pretty sunny day right now. It's not windy at all. It's about maybe 31 degrees. And it's a pretty decent day to actually fly drones, so I'm looking forward to that. It's a pretty good thing as far as the weather's concerned. But as you can see, we're about to put this thing through its paces and see actually how far it can actually go. Let's go. Well, as you can see, I started to boot up the app for the actual drone, and I connected. And now I'm just clarifying now that I have visual confirmation on my phone. I forgot to take the gimbal cover off. So as you can see, I'm taking the gimbal cover off of the actual drone. So I'm setting it on the actual bed door of my actual truck. So I gave it a couple of camera movements with the controls, and I'm preparing to actually take off with the drone. So as you can see, I have no GPS signals, so I'm pretty much flying without any GPS signals. I understand that, you know, when you're flying without any GPS signals, you have no return to home feature. Mind you, the drone is already calibrated, everything of the nature. So now I'm up flying and I have control of the drone. Now the drone is going to continuously go up by itself without me even controlling the drone or even positioning it to continuously go up. So it's going to continuously keep going up and up and up. It's not windy at all. And I'm like, why can I not control the drone now with the actual controller? I was able to start the props with the actual controller. I was actually able to get the drone up in the air, but now it's just ascending and moving in a direction that I have no control of. Still, I have no GPS signal. I'm flying without any GPS connection, but I have no control of the actual controller. So what I did was I turned off the controller at that particular moment. Now I'm going to go to my phone and try to activate the controls on the actual phone so I can get some kind of control of the actual drone to bring it down. So as you can see me trying to get control, I'm able to turn the drone a couple of times, but I'm not able to lower the drone at all with the right analog. You can see me trying to direct the drone to come down. I can't get it to go down. I can't get it to go up. It's just doing its own thing. I have no GPS signal, and it's just drifting, taking off further and further and further away from me. Now, as you can see, it's going up and up, but I have no control of the drone. It's spinning around, and I'm trying to get the drone orientated in the direction of where I'm at. Now I have no visual connection to the drone. I can't see the drone at all. Now I'm just hoping that the drone returns to me, but then I realized that I'm in mode 2. And in mode 2, you have no GPS connection, you have no return to home. And now I realize that the drone is just stuck. And now I realize that the screen is frozen. And then I'm realizing that I'm about to lose this drone because it's getting further and further and further away from me. And then it gets to the point where I realize that the drone is gone because now the screen isn't moving, even though I'm moving the control sticks on the screen, but I'm not getting a response from the actual drone from the screen image. And I'm going to go into a bit of the issues that I've had with this drone since owning it. And there's been quite a few. Lucky for me, I have my drone identification on this drone as far as the registration and the contact number. So hopefully whoever finds it, do the right thing and actually return it to me. But I'm really pissed off right now. I'm not even going to sit here and lie and fabricate how I actually feel. So this was actually the second time that I actually took this drone out to actually try to do a review on it and fly it. The first time that I actually took the drone out and to try to do a review and to fly it, I had a ton of issues. And what I decided to do was to go by the user's menu that came with the drone. Now, this user menu is so inconsistent with explaining things in detail, explaining things in order, and it just make it more confusing when trying to get this thing up and booted. And it took me some time to configure a lot of things, such as calibrating the drone, synchronizing the remote to the drone, synchronizing the remote to the drone, then connecting your phone to the Wi-Fi of the drone, then controlling the drone with the controller while the drone is connected to your phone's Wi-Fi. It was just a shit show for all of those operating systems to work in unison at one time for this drone. I'm just being honest and straightforward here. You know what I mean? With anyone that's looking to buy this drone. The geomagnetic correction configuration of the drone with any other drone is fairly simple. You turn it 3 times one way, you turn it 3 times the other way, you hear a beep, you calibrate it, you're ready to go, you're ready to fly. Not with this drone. It wasn't that simple, it wasn't that straightforward. I would say it took me about 15 minutes to calibrate this drone before I was able to take flight. Now, when I was outside the first time, the issue that I ran into was once I got the drone in the air and I was using my phone screen to, have visual, and catch visual footage of the drone when it's high up in the air and take photos and videos and things of that nature, I would lose remote connection of the drone. So the drone would stop responding to me via remote. So then what I would have to do is turn the remote off, then use my phone to then be able to control the drone. So I would lose connection maybe 2 or 3 times while I'm actually flying the drone in the air. So I'll be flying the drone with the remote, then I can't control the drone anymore with the remote because it's no longer connected. So then I have to quickly right, turn off the remote and use my phone, and God forbid, if I'm not nearby anything, the drone doesn't crash into anything because it doesn't have any obstacle avoidance or anything of that nature to deter you from doing that. So that was one of the biggest issues that I had with the drone. It is a Wi-Fi connection drone, right? But with some other drones, such as the DJI drones, normally they have like a wire that's tethered from the transmitter, which is the controller or the remote, to your actual phone, which normally gives you a consistent connection that allows you to never, 95% of the time, to ever lose connection from the transmitter. So you'll always be able to control the drone with the transmitter if you're connected with that wire. So I was constantly losing connection. Then this drone takes AA batteries. I bought 4 new AA batteries the first time I went out to fly it. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's the software that's inside of this transmitter, it was reading on the screen here, it's a small LCD screen here, it was reading that the batteries in the controller were dead. So it'll boot up and then it'll just immediately shut off. So I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, I just put 4 batteries in here. Why are you still shutting off? Took those batteries out, put 4 more new batteries in there. We were fine, ready to go. By the way, I didn't use any Dollar Tree batteries. I used Duracell batteries, if you were wondering what kind of brand batteries I used. I was able to use the follow function the first time that I've flown this drone for maybe about a minute and 30 seconds. And mind you, I was in a parking lot, an empty parking lot, when I initially used this drone. So there weren't any cars around, there weren't people around, and it continuously kept losing me, even though I was walking. I wasn't running, I wasn't jogging. I would get it up in the air, maybe about 7 to 8 feet up in the air, and I'd maybe be about 10 feet away from it. And it'll highlight me. It'll start following me as I start to walk, and then it'll just stop and lose me. So the follow feature is very flawed. The video quality, as you can see, is the video quality that you guys saw before I lost flight of the actual drone. You're gonna get 1080p video, and that's it. You get 4K photos. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take 4K photos today because I lost the drone. Between the user menu being not consistent and straightforward and able to give you adequate directions, like, they could have simplified everything in this book here. Like, they could have made this 2 pages, 3 pages long in how to get this drone up and running in the air, how to calibrate it, and put it in more layman terms. But they didn't do that. The battery didn't last very long. I got maybe about 15 minutes of flight time off of one battery. So that was that. But then again, the battery didn't take long to charge neither. As a beginner drone, would I recommend this for a beginner? If Exodrones can iron out a lot of the technical issues in this remote and put more technology in it, then maybe. But as it sits right now, I couldn't say with a straight face that I would recommend this drone. as you saw, it was so easy for the drone to just take off without my input. It was so easy for me to lose connection of this drone without my input. Now, granted, I wasn't flying in GPS mode, which I fully understand. Totally understand. But even if I'm not flying in GPS mode, there was very minimal wind. It should be no reason why, if I'm not controlling the sticks for the drone to go up or to go down, to go left or right, the drone should be doing it for me. There should be no reason why the drone is drifting off and flying away without me engaging it. I wasn't using any modes, nothing like that of the nature. I powered the propellers up. They started spinning. Pushed up on the remote. The drone rose. It stopped. I let the remote sticks go in the neutral position like so. And the drone continued to rise up and up and up. Then I lost control of the drone. And I could no longer control it via the remote, even though it was maybe about 20 feet above my head. In the parking lot, I wasn't obstructed of the view of the drone. There was no buildings that was obstructing the Wi-Fi connection of the drone. Nothing of that of the nature occurred. So I'm very disappointed that I couldn't do the review, of course. I'm very disappointed that the drone flew off on me. My FAA registration decals are on this drone, so if someone finds it, hopefully they'll return it. I don't know the state of the drone. I don't know if the drone landed. I don't know if it crashed. I don't know anything about it. But if it did, someone finds it, hopefully they return it. I went looking for it, couldn't find it. I thought that it connected to the remote a couple of times, but it didn't connect to my Wi-Fi because I also had my Wi-Fi open, and I was assuming that the location where I last assumed that it would have flown to, or it was flying at, it would have connected to the Wi-Fi, and then maybe I would have gotten a signal or something like that, but I didn't get anything. So I'm just very disappointed. Last but not least, I've noticed too that this drone and this transmitter is a drone that has been rebranded and renamed several times by different companies. And I didn't know that. I thought that this was a one-off drone. I thought that this was the only type and the only make and design of this particular drone, but it isn't. There are several drones like the X7 Ranger that Exodrones make that are similar or the exact same drone, but branded with a different name. And I didn't know that. And that kind of changes the game, because then, I don't know, maybe you'll get this drone cheaper with a different company, the same drone with a different name, who knows? But I'm just finding that out. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were able to do that in the drone industry, that you can use the same drone that's on the market and just change the name. Like somebody just put a different name on the transmitter or put a different name on the drone and call it a completely different drone, but it's the same drone, same technology. So maybe I was a bit naive when it came to that, but I just wanted to share with you guys that experience. If you have the X7 Ranger from Exodrones, if you had any experiences like mine of the drone just flying off and taking off, and have you lost yours, or have you lost any drone, any budget-friendly drone, beginner drone in this fashion or manner? Let me know. Leave a comment box below. I would also like to shout out Exodrones I appreciate you guys for, even just hooking me up with this one. It's unfortunate that the drone flew off on me in this manner, in shape or form, but I still want to say thank you guys for at least hooking me up with this one. So I'm Troy. This is Troy Drone Flights. Until next time, guys. Peace.